The MLB should be terrified of what the New York Yankees have accomplished this offseason in free agency, and they've pivoted real nicely after losing out on Juan Soto, who ultimately ended up signing with the New York Mets. So we'll break down their newest acquiring of a player and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and we are going to be breaking down the trade that the New York Yankees made yesterday afternoon to acquire Cody Bellinger from the Chicago Cubs for virtually nothing. So good on them. They've had a really nice offseason, even though they did lose Juan Soto to the New York Mets. But before we get into the video, I want to let you know to hit that subscribe button because a large percentage of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world to me because we're extremely close to my goal of 2,000 subs. But let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the video. And breaking. Outfielder slash first baseman Cody Bellinger has been traded from the Chicago Cubs to the New York Yankees, sources tell ESPN. Bellinger, who's 29 years old, is a former MVP and has 2 years remaining on his contract with an opt-out after 2025. Yankees continue to be aggressive post Juan Soto, and the full trade, Cody Bellinger and cash, go to the New York Yankees. Right-handed reliever Cody Poteet goes to the Chicago Cubs. And I'm not familiar with Cody Poteet and what he brings to the table, but Cody Bellinger, as Jeff Passan mentioned, is a former MVP, albeit a far cry from the player that he once used to be. He's still a pretty solid addition right here. And this figures to get Aaron Judge out of center field. That's what the Yankees have signaled here with this move. They've actually come out and said that. So Judge will move to right field, and Bellinger will, for now at least, be the everyday center fielder for the New York Yankees. And if we take a look at his stats, I mean, they weren't great by any stretch last season, but putting him in center allows his defensive value to truly grow a lot more. And you saw in 2023 when he only played center field, first base, and DH, he finished 10th in MVP voting. He had an OPS of 881, a 139 OPS plus. He had a really good season in his first year with the Chicago Cubs, amassing a 4.4 wins above replacement. Bit of a step back last season for him, but I think in a lineup like the New York Yankees, he's going to do a lot better there. And the strikeout totals have really dipped a significant amount for Cody Bellinger. That was a huge problem that he had earlier in his career, but he started to make a lot more contact, maybe not as much hard contact as he once used to, but still, like I mentioned, a very solid player. And this figures to up Judge's value as well, who will move to right field. So what I found interesting was that, once again, my Toronto Blue Jays, I am a Toronto Blue Jays fan, they were used as leverage in these trade negotiations, according to John Heyman, who said Blue Jays were also interested in Bellinger. That helped Cubs do the deal they wanted, sending just $5 million to the Yanks to offset $52.5 million owed to Bellinger over the next 2 years. So, again, a disappointing report if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. And he has an opt-out after next year, so he has a player option that he can exercise after this season, which could work out in his favor, could screw over the Yankees a little bit. But for this year, I think this is a great move that they needed to make. They've pivoted fantastically after losing out on Juan Soto. They got Max Fried. They got Devin Williams, who is, in my opinion, one of the 3 best relievers in the American League now ever since coming to the Yankees. And Cody Bellinger, a former MVP, a guy that has experience, a left-handed power stroke, who is going to work wonders for him with that short porch in right field for the New York Yankees. So you could talk smack about them all you want. You could say, oh, they lost Soto. They could have matched that. They should have not been greedy. They should have bent some of their rules to keep him around. I don't think they need to now. I feel like they're a deeper team. We've also heard their talks and their rumors about being in on Christian Walker, so they're headed in the right direction. I don't know what first base option they're going to end up going with, but whether it's Christian Walker, whether it's Paul Goldschmidt, I think they're going to be an upgrade over what Anthony Rizzo was giving them last year. So maybe they don't have the same star power that they had last season. But getting Bellinger, getting Devin Williams, getting Max Fried, all of those guys help make you a much deeper team, and Major League Baseball should downright be terrified of what the New York Yankees are building. And credit to them, because I thought this was it. I thought they were going to go into the gutter once they lost Soto, but they pivoted just like that. In a snap of a finger, they pivoted quickly. They made a ton of moves that needed to be made. They addressed some of the lack of depth at certain positions, and now they're looking like a real scary team. I don't know what's going on with Gleyber Torres. Figure that Jazz Chisholm is probably going to move over to second base. They're rumored to be in on Alex Bregman. And you could say, oh, they're not going to get them. They're not going to spend the money. Well, the Yankees have the money now because Soto didn't take that deal. And you have $750 million plus that you didn't spend this offseason on one player that you can allocate to a lot of different positions. And Max Fried got over $200 million. You have Devin Williams, who's going to be a free agent after this year. They're probably going to splurge and keep him around. And now you get Cody Bellinger at about $25 million per, so you're spending. The Yankees are not skimping out here on free agency. They're going all in, and they're trying to maximize this window that they have with Aaron Judge. So, again, talk smack about them all you want, but when you make a move like this, and when you're being aggressive after losing out on the best free agent on the market, that was in-house, by the way, for 1 year, I mean, good on them. The Cubs wanted to move Bellinger, especially after acquiring Kyle Tucker, which makes total sense. I understand it. But no disrespect to Cody Poteet. Again, I don't know who he is. But you're giving up virtually nothing to get a former MVP and a guy who's going to help you out in a lot more areas than one. I think the floor for Cody Bellinger is probably a 2020 guy, and he reached that mark in 2023. We've seen the stolen base ability, the speed that he has. He's transformed himself as a player. He's struggled a lot. He's had a few down seasons. There's no doubt about that. But he has really regained his form. And again, he's not the MVP that he once was, but he's still a slightly above league average player, which is better than an Alex Verdugo, per se. I think he's a well above average player, if you're asking me. And don't just look at the wins above replacement. I mean, he had a 4.4 in 2023, which is solid in only 130 games to boot. So he's just got to stay healthy. He's got to stay on the field, and I'm sure that he's going to have an instant impact with the New York Yankees. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of this signing for New York, and how do you think it impacts them going forward? Does it benefit them? Is it a step back? Let me know down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.